Cranky Yankee back here talking news updates and alerts. So giving you guys a quick heads up. So it's going around, it's making the rounds, but it looks like the deal is a go from a circuit perspective. But we're going to talk about the second stop that it looks like it's going to happen. It looks like it could happen in Miami for the Formula One Grand Prix circuit. So it would be on the calendar for 2021. This has been speculated for a while, and I know this was the baby of Sean Bratches, which Sean Bratches is leaving at the end of this year. So that's why when I say it's maybe, I'm a little bit more I'm a little bit more dovish. I'm not as bullish when it comes to this Grand Prix happening. It looks good, and that's why I'm reporting it, but I'm also going to give you the caveat. And I think as the American, I can tell you why this is going to be difficult and why a lot of people aren't saying it, and everyone's just copying and pasting each other. The reason why, although this looks good, it's profitable, and it looks good for Miami, for Formula One, for everyone, Miami doesn't have a good history with sports teams. And so if you're not a follower of American football, which if you're in the audience and you're just not from America, you're probably not, and you're definitely not familiar with the Miami Dolphins. But Miami Dolphins had a very checkered past with the residents of Miami, and it's taken like 30 years. It's been a good 30 years since the 80s that it's taken this long to reconcile this relationship with just the local residents. Miami's in a unique situation because it's basically surrounded by water by all sides. So it's very, very south, obviously, in Florida. But the point is that there's a big gap in terms of the socioeconomic echelons in Miami. And so just parachuting and dropping in one of the most jaw-droppingly, stunningly beautiful sports with giant displays, all of a sudden just throwing it in the middle of the city, disrupting the entire city. Yes, it's profitable from a spectator, perspective, from a Formula One perspective, but how it's going to interrupt the day-to-day lives of people who aren't going to be able to attend, that's what matters. And even if you didn't agree with that, and if it was just a grandstand, the local officials feel that way. And so I talk about that in the article, which I'll put up on screen. But the one thing that you won't read in 9,000 articles, probably, that I don't know. I don't charge for these blogs. I just put them up for you guys. So, and same with these videos. So the one thing you won't get in everyone's coverage of this is, and I actually wasn't familiar with the congresswoman herself, but it looks like she's being usurped. There's a vote coming up. But either way, the person trying to overtake this person in charge, their key decision makers, both of them are opposed to this, and they have quite a bit of sway in the Gardens area, which is where this would be. So it's going to Dade County, which again has its history with voting. But this looks like it's good to go, but make sure to check. October 28th is it's a big day. It's huge, and this would be huge for Formula One. It would be big for Bratch's legacy, but more so, it would be good for the U.S. market. And I think this is something that most people want. I certainly want. This would be 2 Grand Prix I can attend now pretty easily. So I put a lot of the information in there. There's a lot of nuance, but the one thing, like I said, to remember and to keep account and to keep track of is the fact that Miami-Dade is very much opposed to this, actually. So, and when I say that, I mean some of the key members, and then a lot of the local residents. Everyone else in the surrounding area, of course, they want this. For the most part, most people want this. But you have a rich history of athletic events and sports and teams in particular not having a good relationship with the residents. And I think that's going to bear down, at least in the rhetoric and the politics, because especially, I don't want to assume, but especially in the States, that's a big deal, the politics involved in it. So the money is big, but especially in 2019 and in particular 2020, a voting year, this is huge. And I think it's a red flag that the key decision makers of the county are highly against this. So I just wanted to provide that nuance because I think it's interesting, and I don't think it's as clear cut as everyone's saying, but it does look like a go, and I'm comfortable saying that. But I also want to say, don't be surprised if ultimately if this hits some hurdles and it gets locked up, because you got to remember, in the United States, 2020 is an election year. So if this gets locked up, I don't see it. I really don't see it happening. So I don't see this happening in 2021, which is when this would occur. I don't see them passing any sort of making any sort of progress on this in an election year that's going to be as contentious as we all think it is. So that's the bit of nuance. If you're new to this channel, make sure to like, subscribe, share this if you thought it was interesting, if I earned it. And this specific playlist will be only about news, and I'll give you the updates and coverage just the way I just did. So thanks for checking it out, and I'll see you guys soon.